It was in the late 40s when E.H. and Clara Young arrived in the little town of Riverside. They quickly grew to love the town and saw an opportunity to make a lifelong difference. A true community leader, Ed Young played a significant role, visibly and behind the scenes, in building Riverside's history. Ed's commitment to the city of Riverside became a family legacy. While working as a truck driver for the Curtis Candy Company, Ed had the thought that he, too, could be a business owner. So in 1947, Ed and Clara purchased a piece of property and started a seasonal fireworks tent. The following year, he opened up a 2-pump filling station with $150 worth of inventory. The early 1950s were a busy time for the Young family. When a neighboring city wanted to annex Riverside, Ed and fellow neighbors Vic Panis and Fred Filger quickly rallied to get Riverside incorporated as a city. On June 26, 1951, the court issued an order declaring the city of Riverside. Ed served as an alderman from 1951 to 1970 and mayor from 1976 to 1980. In 1951, Ed evolved the filling station into Red X, a grocery and general store. Ed and Clara welcomed their son Zeke in 1953. Over the decades, Ed delighted the community with attractions such as the Riverside Speedway, where many famous drivers got their starts, and where heavyweight champion Rocky Marciano beat Rex Lane by a knockout in the 6th round. In the 1960s, there was Kiddieland and trampolines, 1-cent tickets for rides on trains, boats, and merry-go-rounds. Ed's Zebra Stamp promotion was the original Red X Rewards program. Ed was also an avid antique collector and would display his collection of antiques, oddities, and curiosities throughout the store.
I don't know, Dad was a collector. He gave Mom a bell for one of their anniversaries, and then from then on he started collecting bells. He was known as the dingy one, and he just getting bells. Then after a while he started collecting anything. He'd go to the flea markets, and then people would come to him, and it's just expanded. And he almost turned, he turned the store kind of into a museum through different stages of the building over there. The fire truck, of course, it's a 1948 fire truck, and that's the key reason we got that. A lot of the other antiques, some of the larger ones, we'll try to get those moved over here. We'll get as much as we can over here. But again, that's just something Dad's collected over time. That's why we always say we're unique, we're different. And but again, he did a lot of collecting.
It wasn't all fun and games for Ed. The river flooded Red X in 1951 and in 52. On April 13, 1957, a fire destroyed the store. Only the X sign remained. This disaster prompted Ed to coin the phrase, home of high waters, hot fires, and low prices. When Ed was in his 80s, Red X was devastated by the flood of 1993. The water reached the ceiling, destroying everything inside. After the water receded, Ed sat in front of the store with his son Zeke. Zeke asked him what he was going to do. Without hesitation, his response was, "These people need jobs. We're going to clean it up and open back up." And that's just what he did.
Dad's motto was a home of high water, hot fires, and low prices. And the reasoning behind that, he went through 2 floods, I believe like 52 and 53, and then of course the big flood in 93. The first 2 floods, they lived in an apartment above the store. The apartment didn't get flooded, but the rest of the store did. So that has always been a constant thing to battle against. And then of course the city got the levee, and so we raised it up above that. He built this ground higher because he didn't want to have to go through any more floods and all that. So he built this particular part of the ground a little bit higher. And of course, that's why we're Riverside. We're by the river.
From helping found the Riverside Parks Department, donating land that led to the development of the Argosy Casino in E.H. Young Park, and supporting local charities, arts, school, and community groups, Ed Young and Red X are forever ingrained in the community. At Ed's passing in 1999, his son Zeke took the reins. For over 2 decades, he's led the store with the same compassion, commitment, and sense of humor as his father, and always meeting the needs of the customers and the community. Like his father, Zeke also overcame obstacles, such as a tornado in 2003, the opening and closing of the Grandview Red X, a pandemic, and an aging building. The family legacy grew in 2018 when Jen Boyd, granddaughter to Ed, daughter to Zeke, joined the family business full-time. While Ed had discussed a new store prior to his passing, in 2019 the age and condition of the store made a new building a necessity. On February 22, 2023, Red X opened the doors to a new building, marking the beginning of a new era. One thing that remains the same is the Young family's devotion to the community, team members, and customers as they keep the history alive and remain true to their roots. Red X, what was a Riverside icon, is now a Northland treasure.